Welcome back to the Crypto Trends Podcast, where we cover all things cryptocurrency, blockchain, Web 3.0, and AI. I'm Robert Croak, and I'm joined by my co-host, Armando Pantoja. Both of us and our amazing team are excited to bring you the best information, guidance, and strategies each and every Wednesday. So follow along, and as always, remember to take notes and take action. Okay, so let's get into talking point one for today. Are the crypto markets shaken up, and what to expect next? The crypto markets have been on an uptick in volatility this week, and I think it's due to increased trading activity. And the market shift presents opportunities for traders to reassess their strategies and take advantage of lower priced assets. So navigating market volatility requires careful observation and strategic responses to capitalize on these potential gains. And I think it's really important for people to understand, and we talk about this all the time, is when in doubt, zoom out. So break it down a little bit, because I know your DMs and your emails have probably been blowing up as well. So break it down for the listeners of where we're at, what to do, and how to react to these conditions.
Yeah, man, so many people are panicking right now. Like I said, both our DMs are full. People are panicking about crypto in general, Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Proppy, because Proppy's fell a lot. But the Bitcoin right now is at around $69,000, and it's been stuck between 68 and 70 for like a week or two, maybe even longer. And a lot of people are panicking because of that. But the good news is that Bitcoin is in an ascending triangle.
Right.
So what an ascending triangle is that it shows it's a continuation pattern, a bullish continuation pattern. And 80, 90% of the time, once that channel, narrows, that it's going to be an uptick in the asset. So that's what Bitcoin's in now, and we expect in a week or two, maybe even faster, to see Bitcoin break out of 70, 72, 73,000, maybe even past that. So what many analysts are seeing right now is an increase in volatility, right? So with this ascending triangle, with the increase in volatility and more traders trading the asset, it's almost a guarantee that we're going to see an uptick after this ascending triangle narrows. So like I said, it could be an early indicator. It is an early indicator, I think, of a huge market shift on the horizon.
Yeah, these shifts can be unsettling for some, but they're also ripe with opportunities for those who are paying attention. And smart investors see this as a perfect time to reassess their strategies, whether it's taking advantage of price dips or securing new positions. And that's just really important for everyone listening to understand is, yes, would we love it if the markets always went up and to the right? But that's just not the case, especially with cryptocurrency as an investment category. So it's just very important for everyone to chill out, zoom out and look at where we're at with so much good news that has happened in recent weeks. And it's also interesting to note that the DeFi sector is seeing so much renewed interest, which might be a contributing factor to this uptick in activity. But all in all, my takeaway is there's so much good news happening throughout the markets. Yes, price action hasn't been great. We're not printing money at the moment, but there are still some really great bright spots in the market, and we have to be patient for this bull market to really get into full effect. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So right now, with crypto, what's happening with crypto, the price action, like we talked about, is people are panicking, right? But in a stagnant market like this, or even when there's a bear market and the assets dropping, it requires a control of your emotions, right? And what's weird to me is that people panic on stagnant markets. Like, why would you panic? And Bitcoin has gone up 50, 60, even 70% over the last 6 months, and it just stopped. I mean, it's still valuable. It's still worth a lot. It just hasn't stopped going up or stopped ascending. And people panic because of that. But there is an increase in volatility. And like I said, is that when there's that increase of volatility, it opens up a lot of new opportunities. And I like what's happening right now with Bitcoin, because I see a lot of opportunity on the horizon. And when you look at it that way, you can either get significant gains or you can have missed opportunities, right? And that when you're emotional about decisions, it causes missed opportunities. So we even seen some regulatory news out of China, right, with Hong Kong.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that later. But I think some of these market changes and some of these positive things on the horizon is very good. I think it's good for Bitcoin.
Yeah, when I was doing a live the other day, quite a few people, not a lot, but maybe 4 or 5 people kept talking about in a negative way. Where's this bull market you guys have been talking about? Why aren't crypto going up and all this. So I pulled out a sheet that was absolutely updated that day. And it was great because I showed Ondo Finance up 321%, Bitcoin up 86% for the year, Ethereum up this amount, and all these other coins that we talked about, Axon DAO, all of these. And it's just, people are so conditioned to thinking that they're going to put $100 in and it's going to just turn into $10,000, or they're going to make $1 million off of a $5,000 investment. It's just not realistic. And it bothers me because through all of these conditions, if people just looked at the real numbers, the return on investment, the ROI, they would realize that we've been crushing it with crypto for the most part for a year and a half. And that's what bothers me the most, is people have the inability, because they think it's just supposed to be so simple. You put your money in and you 100x. And I think a lot of that just comes from all of these, clickbaity fake gurus out there in the crypto market. You all know who you are, that put out this is the next 500x coin. And nobody knows what the next 500x coin is, by the way. And it just bothers me. So, do I think the regulatory landscape is something to keep an eye on? Absolutely. With the recent SEC statements, they have caused a lot of fluctuation, in particular with altcoins, due to their unclear stance. And this is just a reminder for investors to stay informed about both global and local regulations, and then they can have an immediate effect on market conditions. So, and that's why it's so important for everyone just to keep up, watch podcasts like this, do your homework, and stay on top of the market fluctuations, because there is a lot of volatility for now that will subside as time progresses. But right now, we're still dealing with a huge phase of cryptocurrency. You hear us talking about it being early on, and people might snicker about that because crypto's been around for 13, 14 years, but it is still early. We're just getting adoption from major banks and investment firms. We're just getting regulations from the SEC and governments. So it's still very early on, and the good stuff has yet to happen on a bigger scale.
Yeah, I like what you said about we're early, right? Is that adoption of new technology. And I had a chart that I posted maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, like television, the telephone, compact disc, cellular telephones, they all took 30 years for adoption, 30 years before 50, 60% of the population had access to or used these technologies. But, and I like what you said too about if you look at crypto over the last year and a half, there's been incredible gains, incredible compared to the 9-10% of stock market, compared to 10-11% in real estate. We're talking about 150%, 200%. I mean, Bitcoin is up 80%. I mean, you have to understand that these are incredible gains, right? And one of the biggest opportunities I see is Ethereum. I've always talked about that. That's my number one crypto. And right now, there's something on the horizon, right? They have a new update.
Yep.
And like I said, is that we have to understand the potential of these tech updates, right? Is that Ethereum is doing a lot of work, right? And we have to understand a little bit about the technology, because this pushes the price. With Ethereum's upgrade coming and the Ethereum ETF, there could be a convergence of those two events. And like I said, and also the third thing is that the Bitcoin halving is coming up. Remember, we talked about this in the first few episodes. There's a 3 to 5 month gap after the halving before we see that clear bull market starting to take off. And like I said, is that once the Ethereum in July, the Ethereum ETF comes out, and then we have this new update coming out, and we are in the middle of a bull market. I could see Ethereum at 15,000, maybe even 20,000, right? And I could say that could happen pretty quickly in 12 to 18 months. And with these tech innovations, this upgrade, I could see that happening pretty quickly. And those 2 or 3 things will definitely help with Ethereum's price.
Yeah, I want to go back a minute, because it really has been bothering me lately, is that we talk about people being conditioned in their mindset. For decades and decades, if you were making 10% on your money yearly, you were crushing it and you were beating benchmarks. But now, because of cryptocurrency and meme coins, NVIDIA, people are so conditioned that if something's not going to make a 50% return or a 200% return, that it's not a good investment. And we just really need to get people to understand that is a terrible mindset. Sure, we love it when we're right. I called out NVIDIA back in 2022. People have made thousands and thousands of dollars. We called out CleanSpark. We've called out so many incredible stocks and cryptos over the last couple of years. And that's fantastic, but that's not the norm. And I want everyone to really take a moment and think about that if you're investing your money and you're thinking like an investor and you're making a 20% return, 30% return or something like that, that is incredible. You should just be happy because your money is going to double so much faster than the old days when if you made 8 to 10%, you were killing it. So just keep that in mind. So to get back into it, innovations in blockchain and technology and upcoming project milestones can definitely stir the pot. But also, savvy investors should always be on the lookout for promising ICOs, new projects that offer a unique value proposition. Keeping up with these developments and understanding their potential impact is very, very rewarding. And that's why we always live and spend so much time in Discord, X, Instagram, TikTok to really keep an eye on the markets and the market news. Because like I always tell our listeners, you don't have to be first to a crypto or an investment in a stock or whatever. You just have to be ahead of the masses. And that's why it's so important that you do your homework, follow people like Armando and myself, because you're always going to be ahead of the curve with that information. So let's go into the next talking point. Is Hong Kong transforming into Asia's crypto powerhouse right now? And when you look at the SFC's approval of 11 crypto exchanges, this really marks a huge shift towards embracing cryptocurrency in Hong Kong and in Asia. And this will likely make Hong Kong a key player in the Asian markets and attract international investors and firms. And the scary part for the United States is, and it's getting better, but it's still not in the clear, is getting the United States government and the SEC to understand this is too big to stop. And all you're going to do by putting more and more hurdles in the way of U.S. companies is force innovation elsewhere. And once that happens and the United States no longer holds the title as the innovation center for cryptocurrency, that could be really bad for financial markets in the United States. So let's touch on Hong Kong and your thoughts, and also the problems that we see with the U.S. government, because it has gotten better. We're seeing some approvals, but there's still, it seems like the SEC is always scratching at the door, trying to find ways to prevent innovation. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So Bitcoin is there's a lot of game theory in that, and what that means is that, simply put, is that the people who adopt Bitcoin earliest receive the best benefit. We see that with El Salvador. We see that with individuals. We see that with organizations because the price is appreciating so fast, and it will replace certain parts of the financial system eventually. So early adopters are seeing that, right? So Hong Kong just approved 11 exchanges. I know you said that before, but let's reiterate it because I don't think a lot of people realize how big that is.
Yeah.
Right. This development shows that Hong Kong is embracing the cryptocurrency community, right? So this could position Hong Kong as a major player on the worldwide scale as a crypto leader and a crypto industry. It could be one of the crypto hubs in Asia, right? So, and I agree with you. The SEC in the United States has significantly stunted Bitcoin crypto in the United States. And I think the Ethereum ETF, hopefully, that showed a turning point in how they feel towards Bitcoin. Because back to that game theory, the first countries who adopt Bitcoin receive the biggest benefit. And hopefully they understand that. They're changing their viewpoint on Bitcoin. Maybe a new administration or whatever happens over the next year may open up to it. We know that Trump said repeatedly that he plans to embrace cryptocurrency. So with a Trump, and I'm not, I don't really look into politics like that, but just looking at it, data wise, if we see a Trump election, we see Trump winning the election, we could see crypto be embraced by the United States, and hopefully that would change the path and put us on the, the worldwide map of doing well with crypto.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to always look at the manipulation that has occurred over the past 3 or 4 years, and now we're seeing adoption. We've got the Bitcoin ETFs, we've got the Ethereum ETFs. I assume we're going to see an XRP ETF soon. We might see Solana first. Probably Solana's will be next. So there's just so much opportunity right now, and that's why it's frustrating. Because we put so much work into providing really good information for all of our listeners, whether it's on the podcast or through our lives, that so many people still think crypto's a scam or crypto's going to get banned or this is going to happen. The largest countries and governments and companies in the world don't spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars changing course to enable and build blockchains for their companies if it was a scam. And that's why the people that are the early adopters have won so big, people like you and I, over the last 15 years, because we were open-armed to this new technology. Just like everyone hears me talking about humanoid robotics on a daily basis. You might not be thinking about humanoid robotics, but guess what? I am, because I want to be ahead of the money to make sure that everyone that follows me and listens to me wins when they're doing investing like we do. And all of these different sectors offer those bright spots. And that's why it's so important for us to be ahead of the information. And so that's why I just think it's so important, for the U.S. government to figure this out on a broader scale so we continue with the innovation in the United States instead of pushing it to the likes of Hong Kong and some of the other countries that are now really waking up to the importance of cryptocurrency as a whole. And it's good to see it. I mean, the Trump move was huge last week, and I'm just excited about the future because I think we're going to finally see the light of day where it's going to be all boats steam ahead, and just not see all this back and forth with the government. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So back to Hong Kong is I think them having this regulatory environment where they're accepting the crypto changes is going to increase institutional investment in what they're doing. I think that back to Hong Kong I think this move by Hong Kong is a big, accepting those 11 crypto exchanges is a huge move for the region, right? And it's going to bring in institutional investors. It's going to bring in organizations. It may even bring in outside investment, right? So I think it's huge. What they're doing is going to increase transparency, and it's going to also increase security in cryptocurrency, right? And I think by Hong Kong setting that regulatory framework, it's going to, like I said, it's going to bring a lot of trust to the industry, right? And it's also going to affect how other countries approach cryptocurrency and also how new countries approach innovation.
Yeah, if you think about it, this move might also attract blockchain startups and technology firms to set up operations in Hong Kong. And that's the scary part for the U.S. This could spur a whole ecosystem of innovation from fintech solutions to decentralized finance projects, all looking elsewhere because of the uncertainty in the U.S. So we might see a ripple effect where neighboring regions also start to reconsider their stance on crypto regulation to not fall behind. So to anyone listening from the U.S. government, please look at this from a broader lens. Keep on the right track that we want the innovation to stay here.
Yeah, and the thing about it is there's something deeper, right? Is that when a country or a region accepts cryptocurrency or any emerging technology, there's something else. There's job creation.
Yeah.
Right now, and right now in crypto, you have blockchain developers, you have cybersecurity, you even have like accountants or lawyers or a lot of other industries that are specific to cryptocurrency. Right now, I always tell people it's a huge opportunity with that. And like I've actually trained a few people to change over their job, whether it's an accountant or a lawyer or just a graphic designer, and go into cryptocurrency and become a specialist, because now you make 2 to 3 times more money because the crypto industry is emerging, and a lot of those jobs are in demand. For a lawyer that understands cryptocurrency regulations in the SEC, they can make 3 or 4 times more money than they made just being a regular lawyer. But I think back to what I was saying, I think it's a huge, huge, huge opportunity for Hong Kong, and hopefully the United States follows suit.
Yeah, I mean, I had a conversation probably 6 years ago with one of my top lawyers and friends of mine, and I told him, I said, you should really go all in on cryptocurrency law and regulations. And he didn't do it because, he's a busy lawyer, but it's just one of those things where when you specialize and you niche down on a market that is growing as fast as blockchain, cryptocurrency, Web 3.0, and AI, you can create a whole additional business out of it from what was once a traditional job into this new sector. And I think that's just very, very important. You can even look at it as being the picks and shovels, like in the gold industry, to where you don't have to be the one creating the technology. You're the one that's supporting it. So I really love that thought process of where people can go here to really exploit and make a lot of money in these sectors. I just really like the opportunities that we see. And I'm glad you pointed out like accountants and lawyers and all that, because people just need to look at what's ahead and not be fearful of it. Because if you get ahead of it, like somebody, I forgot who said it the other day, they said, I believe it was the founder of NVIDIA, said that AI is not going to take your job. The person that knows how to use AI better than you is going to take your job. And I think that's profoundly important in these up and coming markets in the job sector as well, is for people to understand when you live in fear of new things, you're going to get left behind. End of story. And that's why we are always trying to lead people as to where the opportunities are in these new sectors.
Yeah, so I knew a dude one time 2 years ago, is that he was looking for an accountant that understood cryptocurrency. Now, accountants only charge $1,000, maybe $1,500 if you have complex taxes. He paid an accountant $10,000 to do his crypto taxes. And that's what the kind of opportunity that you're talking about now, I'm talking about too, is that the amount that you can make if you niche down is way more than you can make in any other industry.
Yeah, I mean, my former accountant and lawyer cost me probably $500 million because when I was getting ready to open the Bitcoin exchange in 2010, they just didn't understand it and they weren't qualified to tell me what to do. And I ended up listening to them and not opening the exchange, which the rest is history. I've still done well in cryptocurrency, but it is frustrating and there's just so much opportunity. But make sure you listen to the right people who are credible and understand the technology and the sectors enough to guide you appropriately. So let's go into something that's kind of at top of mind right now, and that is, why are crypto leaders concerned about Dogecoin and kind of the meme coin space right now? I mean, we get it. We look at meme coins as being something that is gambling versus, investing, but there's still a lot of money to be made in meme coins. And Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, expressed his concern about Dogecoin's influence on the cryptocurrency markets. And I think it's just something we need to touch on today because we see Dogecoin and Floki and Shiba Inu and some of these, meme coins out there that are just absolutely crushing it with no use case, and it doesn't mean they have to have a utility for people to make money, but it is scary of how big the market caps are getting on some of these meme coins without any utility at all.
It also highlights the diverse opinions from all these crypto experts, right? And one of the ones that a lot of people didn't understand is Michael Saylor said that there would be no Ethereum ETF. I remember me and you said in January, February that there would be 80% chance. You can look back at the episodes. Michael Saylor, who's one of the top Bitcoin maximalists, one of the top, that people see as an expert, he said it was 100% chance that it wouldn't happen. Then it happened anyway. So it's good to listen to diverse people. But you also got to find the people who are right, most of the time historically, like me and you.
Well, but you also have to look at it that even at Michael Saylor's level, he has a reason to say that. And you have to understand when you're following people, you have to look at what does this person have to gain by their narrative. For us, we don't own any cryptocurrency companies. We're not working for the government. We are independent people that are passionate about education and the crypto space. So we have no reason to push our audience one way or the other. We only have the reason of what we believe is the best case of what we believe the information is going to drive the markets. And that is the difference, because even for Michael Saylor, everything he has is betting the bank on Bitcoin. So of course he has no hindrance to say that Ethereum ETFs are not going to happen, because he wants to make sure as much money goes into the Bitcoin as possible, because he has the most to gain.
Yeah, it could be intentional or non-intentional, right? Is that a lot of times when you're heavily into an investment, if you don't, clear yourself of the emotion, you start getting affected by cognitive dissonance, right? Yep. Is that you can't see anything outside of that investment. And it was a guy, I forget his name. He did a huge short on Herbalife, right? Yep. It's because he hated the company so bad. He took a multi-billion-dollar with his fund short against Herbalife, and he said it was going bankrupt. He really believed it. He was like banging the table. He hated that company. Herbalife kept going up, and he lost so much money that he had to close his short positions, right? And that's an example of just extreme emotion can cause you to do bad decisions or say, things that aren't correct. So you always got to be careful. And like you said, you have to look into what this person has to gain. So with Dogecoin, right, is that I'm glad he said these things, right, because it raises the question of meme coins. And I know it's a good way to make money, and we invest in meme coins, but what about their long-term stability and their long-term, what they're going to do long-term? So it raises that question, and I'm glad we're having it, right? Because many meme coins are going to zero, and a lot of meme coins, even though they're community-driven and they're pumped by sentiment, they're pumped by trends on social media, that's unsustainable. So you have to understand that sometimes you have to be able to take your profits on meme coins and stay out of it for a while, because they're very unpredictable.
Yeah, and it just really comes down to everyone thinks that they're going to be that person that can time the market perfectly. I mean, you even look at what happened with Roaring Kitty this week. He came back, pumped the market, made 300% return, then sold, and then it went right back down 300%. And you have to realize that 90% of the people in that transaction, everyone was asking me, should I get in? Should I get in? That's gambling, because it is a pump and dump, if it ever could be, and great for Roaring Kitty. But it's just one of those things where that's not investing to me, because if you're not in on it, you're going to get left behind and you're going to get dumped on. And so that's why I just want everyone to understand to try and be more of an investor and less of a gambler.
Yeah, and like people always talk about communities, right? Now, some have, like Floki has a very strong community. Dogecoin has a community. And those may continue to go forward, but a lot of these meme coins do have community, but these people are only in it for the money.
Right.
So if you got a group of people that's only in it for the money, if it drops, those people panic.
Yep.
So Dogecoin and Floki are different because people care about the project, right? So one of the things you have to look at, right, is that, with meme coins, with somebody Dogecoin, whatever, they're fun to play with. But the main thing that drives that value is technological advancements and innovation, right? Like with Ripple. XRP, and we both still believe in that. They're doing cross-border payments. They're advancing their technology. They're getting partnerships from financial institutions. There's still a bright horizon for Ripple. So I think, let's go back to my prediction. And I stand on it strongly. I think Ethereum definitely is going to 15,000, right? And I got a lot of my money in that. So a lot of that I have is riding on that. But I want to know some of your predictions, right? We already said mine, but I want to see where you are right now in the crypto market and what you think is going to go up.
Well, you touched on XRP, and I think a lot of people in the crypto space are making a mistake walking away from XRP and thinking it's a dead coin. They forget XRP was absolutely crushing before the court case, and now we're waiting on the settlement to happen. XRP, I think, will be one of the leaders, and we will make absolute tons of money from it. So for me, I still believe strongly in XRP, and I'm loading up on it at this point even. But some of the other call-outs and projects that I really like right now is I still think Ondo Finance and Pendle Finance have a long way to go. Plenty of room. Ondo's been crushing it lately. One of my favorites in the decentralized science space that I touched on earlier is Axon DAO. And then And Caspa is an older call out that I think we called out a few months ago, but they are just crushing it. And I really like Caspa. And then one of the newer coins that I've been buying quite a bit of is Ton Coin, TON. And I think that is a really, really good one for me that I'm looking forward to in the future. So, has the market been sideways? Yes. Are there some ups and downs? People are bummed that Proppy's down from wherever it went to $4. But we called out Proppy at 52 cents. So even at right now, today's prices, we're still at a 4X. And people are mad at that, which is just crazy, a 4X in like 5 months. So, for me, it's business as usual. I'm so excited that we get to come and do this every single week and do our lives and really build the community around Crypto Trends Podcast, because I think everyone out there still has concerns and a lack of guidance and knowledge in the crypto space. So I enjoy each and every week getting to do this with you and put out great information. So I want to thank each and every one of you for listening and following along. You can find us on Instagram at Crypto Trends Podcast and on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And we're so excited for the remainder of 2024 and sharing all of our crypto insights with all of you. And if you love the podcast, please share with a friend and give it a 5-star review, and we'll see you next week.